Elvis Presley, the king of stage and screen. Every movie reviewed today is Jailhouse Rock. Welcome to the Tainted Tavern.
Welcome to the Tainted Tavern. Come sit inside for free.
Now, Jailhouse Rock was Elvis's third movie. And following Loving You, his second movie, which was done in colour, Jailhouse Rock went back to gritty black and white. There is a colorized version on this film, computer colorized, somewhere online that you can watch. But the moody black and white photography suits the themes of the movie. This is one of the few films in which Elvis had a script and a character that he could actually get his teeth into. He plays Vince Everett, a young man who gets into a fight at the beginning of the film in a barroom. For rather heroic reasons, he's actually protecting a woman who was being abused by her boyfriend or husband. It's not clear what the character is. Elvis gets into a fight with him and accidentally kills him, and so he's charged with manslaughter. And he gets 1 to 10 years. So that's the opening of the film. Next thing then, we're in the penitentiary, which is where the bulk of the action takes place. Now, I've made a lot of notes after this movie so that I get everything correct. So let me just dig out my notes. Now, Elvis, as I said, plays a character called Vince Everett, and the character's not really likable, and it's remarkable to watch this film, given Elvis his later sanitized film career, in which the character that he portrayed, which was a thinly veiled version of himself, or perhaps a version of himself which was presented through rose-tinted spectacles. But the character he plays in here is actually not a likable character for the biggest bulk of the film. He's moody, he's egocentric, and he's carrying an issue around with him because of his love for his co-star, played by Judy Tyler. And it just affects him, the way he acts. He pushes people away. He's not a nice character at all. So he ends up in prison. He ends up as a cellmate of a washed-up country singer called Hank Horton, played by Mickey Shaughnessy. And Shaughnessy starts teaching Vince Everett, Elvis's character, some guitar chords. And he also persuades Elvis, to take part in a TV show which is going to be filmed at the prison, in order to show the talent of some of the inmates, which Vince does. He goes down a storm, massive packages of fan mail arrive, but the warden doesn't let Elvis see these letters, so Elvis is totally unaware of Hank Horton is aware of this fan mail, and he bribes some fellow inmates who are also aware of the fan mail to keep their mouths shut, because he knows the warden won't give the letters to Vince, to Elvis. So he bribes them with packets of cigarettes, which seems to be the currency in the old pokey, in the old jailhouse. And the reason he wants to keep these quiet is he notices something in this young man, this young Vince Everett, that he believes he could, when they get out of prison, he could exploit that talent in order to put himself back on the top, because he was at one time a successful country singer, but he's washed up now, and he tells his story throughout the film. He was a successful country singer once. His problems came over a woman. He wasn't making enough money, so he robbed a bank, which is how he ended up in the pokey, in the jailhouse. But what's interesting about this is Hank, originally when we first meet him, and we find out what he does with the fan mail, we think this guy is the bad guy, this guy is the bad character. But it turns then, and it actually turns out that Elvis's character, Vince Everett, is really the bad guy. He's a totally unlikable character in this film. Now, when it was released, the critics initially panned Presley's performance, called it amateurish. But over the years, this film has gained a lot of respect, and Presley's acting style, even though it is, I suppose, in places that amateurness does come out. But then you've got to remember, this is only his third film. This is 1957. He's only really become a star over the last couple of years. And we call it his third film, when basically it's his second film, because his actual first film, Love Me Tender, he had just had a bit part in that. It wasn't an Elvis Presley vehicle, and you can find my review of Love Me Tender on this channel. Go and check it out. And Elvis was shoehorned into that film and given very little to do except walk around looking moody. And so this is only Elvis's second proper acting experience, and he did well enough in the previous movie, Loving You, although that was more of a kind of happy-go-lucky type movie. Jailhouse Rock is drama, and the way it's shot, there are scenes which would come across as pure noir. Now, an interesting fact of this movie is Judy Tyler, who plays Elvis's love interest in the film, she was killed in a car crash 3 days after this movie is finished filming. So by the time the movie came out, she was passed away, and this affected Elvis deeply. He was very, very deeply affected by her death, and he didn't attend the premiere of the film for that reason. But overall, Jailhouse Rock is a pretty fine Elvis Presley vehicle. He does get to act, and I've always maintained that Presley is a better actor than he's given credit for. I mean, several of his films, King Creole, which is going to come next, his fourth movie, to my mind, Elvis's best movie. He's brilliant in that. Also, the two westerns he made, Flaming Star and Charo. Flaming Star is probably the better of the two, but in both of those movies, he does display genuine acting chops. You know, it's not his fault that his movies suddenly hit on a formula and they stuck to that formula, and he never really got to act. Of course, the most famous sequence from the movie is that absolutely fantastic dance sequence when they perform in Jailhouse Rock in a prison setup for a television special. This is when the character of Vince Everett has already become a star. It's absolutely fantastic. They did have a professional choreographer in to put it all together, Alex Romero, but he was going to film it with all, you know, traditional dance moves like likes of Fred Astaire, but Elvis was no Fred Astaire, and so he realized it wasn't working. And what he said to Elvis was, "Show me some of the moves you do on stage in your stage show," to which Elvis did, and he worked the dance routine around that. So effectively, Elvis choreographed this dance routine, and the Jailhouse Rock sequence, which is often called the first pop video, and it does, when taken out of the film, hold some claim to be the first ever pop video, just as Elvis invented the MTV Unplugged sit-down concept in his 1968 comeback special. So yes, you can say it was the first pop video, but it's an absolutely incredible sequence. You can probably see it floating up around the screen here. Absolutely wonderful. Brilliant film. What else have I written down here that I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, it was a massive box office success. During this week of release, it was number 3 at the box office, and overall for the full year, it hit number 14. Its initial take-ins in the United States were $3.2 million, so it was a big hit. A fantastic film. As I say, Elvis's performance in this is pretty damn decent. There's a scene where he pushes himself onto Judy Tyler's character, goes in for a kiss, and she sort of slaps him and says, "How dare you use those cheap tactics on me?" And Elvis looks at her, and you can see he's trying to channel James Dean, who of course Elvis was a massive admirer of. When Elvis first went into movies, he wanted to be the next James Dean, the next Brando. Sadly, that wasn't to be. But Elvis looks at her and he says, "It ain't tactics, baby. It's just a beast in me." Absolutely fantastic scene. Overall, I think Jailhouse Rock is an absolutely brilliant movie. Okay, my rating system. Now, I give my films, my reviews, a rating of drams. So it's 5 drams, from 1 to 5 drams. And I'm going to give Jailhouse Rock a solid 4.5 drams. Which makes it a single malt of some distinction, or an high-end bourbon at the very least. So that's Jailhouse Rock. The next Elvis film I'll be looking at will be King Creole. So, please give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. And if you haven't done so already, then please subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost anything and it will help the channel grow. So thanks for watching. Cheers, Yakida, and bye for now.
Come back soon.